Awesome, Caleb. Thanks for talking with us today. Can you just tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do? Tell us your story.
Yeah, my name's Caleb Posey. I am the owner of Sound to Mountain Home Inspections out of Ferndale. I started doing this back in 2016, and it mainly was I was working a 9 to 5 job every day, and we found out we were having kids, and my wife worked full time. And as you well know, when you have kids, childcare is at most hardest thing to do as a parent, so or figure out. And I said I need to start my own business. And I had a realtor friend that wanted me to become a real estate agent. And I was like, I don't know if I really want to be a real estate agent. And he was talking about a home inspector, and I was like, oh, that's more my style. I kind of, I have a background in plumbing and heating, so it was kind of, I was like, all right, let me look into that. So I quit my job, and my wife
Nice.
supported me for about a month, actually longer than that, because but the class was a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 for a month straight, which in the grand scheme of things isn't that much education to become a home inspector, but it's one of the better ways to be trained as a home inspector, and that was at BTC. So I got that done for a month,
Nice.
and that really allowed me to make my own schedule. Which for like the first, I want to say, first couple of years as a home inspector, it really allowed me to stay home for my kids, which I'm really blessed. And I wish it would have been the other way around for my wife because she really missed out on being with the kids 24/7. Um, but that's essentially why I started doing it is so I could be home for my kids and take care of them, and have the flexibility of make my schedule as I want. Now it's still that flexibility. I'm just not as available to be home all the time because I'm
Sure.
working 2 inspections a day every day, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
But that's where
Nice.
I'm originally from, Marysville, and I moved up here back in 2012.
Nice. What brought you up here?
My wife. We came up here. I came up here a bunch with friends to go out and hang out and whatnot. And I really loved Bellingham. Bellingham was. I'm from Marysville. Marysville is kind of more of a suburb, and it just there's more things to do up in Bellingham. It's beautiful, as you well know. This area is
Mm.
wonderful. Indoor, outdoor. We have all our season. Or it's just beautiful. There's so much to do. You got the ocean. You got the mountains. You got lakes. You got so much
Yeah.
to offer up here. And then so I just met my wife up here, and she's from the opposite side of the state, Tri Cities area, and she was going to college up here, and then I met her, and then we just decided to make our home, and then we moved to Ferndale, and we absolutely love Ferndale. It's such a great
Yeah.
community. It's like a small town feel, but not super small. Um, and yeah, it's we love it here,
Yeah.
and
I agree
Ferndale's awesome.
wholeheartedly. Yeah, I came up here, finished my degree at Western, and decided I wanted to stay. Thankfully, I met a Ferndale girl, and then stuck
Nice.
around. So yeah, Ferndale's home. That's awesome. Cool. Well,
Yeah.
let's jump in to the home inspection stuff. So one thing that would be really helpful is for a first-time home buyer. Can you just let's just break it down, like plain and simple. Like, what is a home inspection? What should a first-time home buyer know about an inspection?
Yeah, so a home inspection is a non-invasive evaluation of your home. That's going to give you, it's kind of like a Carfax on a car. It's going to give you the current condition of the home so you know what you're buying before you buy it. Just, you want to know if the house is falling apart or what expenses you can anticipate before you buy it. If you need to know if you need a new roof, or you need to know if your electrical system needs to be upgraded. Stuff that, say you only have a couple $1,000s to put in the house. Maybe you want a move-in ready house that has
Hmm.
nothing you have to worry about upgrading, which happens a lot. A lot of people want to move in, they don't want to fix anything. They don't have the money to fix anything. So that's why you get a home inspection, new or old. I've done new homes that, are gonna. Builder forgot to put insulation in the crawl space. Builder forgot to put insulation in the attic. There was a shower not hooked up. There was plumbing not finished. It was a Friday and the contractor didn't install roof vents on the house. I've had all these scenarios happen before, and
Jeez.
um, these are things why you get a home inspection, no matter what. It's just
Yeah.
like it's an insurance. It's you're spending 400 to whatever $500 on a potential $500,000 purchase. It's worth the price to find out that the house is in good shape, or you just saved yourself some money. You spent $500 to find out that you don't have to spend $50,000 on a new foundation.
Right.
So I mean, that's essentially why you get a home inspection, and that's what a home inspection is. We're not there to tell you the codes of the house. We're not code inspectors. We're not building inspectors. We're just giving you the condition of the home, and so you know who to hire, who to bring out to get estimates. We're not going to give you. Some inspectors might give you. I try to give people ballpark estimates on issues. If I've had experience, I've heard. Like roofs in
Sure.
general, you're probably
Sure.
spending around 15,000 for a new roof, plus give or take the size of the roof. So stuff
Right.
like that, I can kind of give you an idea. Most inspectors do have an idea, but it's not our jobs to give you an actual estimate of the issues. But it's our job to give you the issues. You got doors that are not that are sticking. We're gonna play with everything in the house. That's essentially what I tell people. I'm gonna test the doors, windows, outlets, anything I can possibly test to let you know if it's working or not working is what I'm doing. And
Yeah.
it's good to have a home inspector because it's a non-bias. I did my own home inspection on my own house, and I wanted it so bad that I missed things that I would have never missed on another person's house. So it's
There you go.
always it's a third party non-biased opinion that it's really what you need when you're buying a house.
Yeah.
It's very
Kind of top
essential.
to bottom, going
Yep.
through everything with a fine tooth comb. Awesome.
Yep. Going into
When you
spaces that you don't want to go, crawl space, attic. People don't go in
right.
there ever. That's what we do.
Right. Oh man, yeah, it's so important too. Great reminder about the new construction because everything. It's just a good idea to get a second set of eyes in there, somebody who's trained to look at everything.
Yeah.
I always tell people, like we were talking about, that you're hiring a person to tell you everything that's wrong with a house. So sometimes for first-time homebuyers, they totally freak out. And they're like, oh, there's all these
Totally.
things that are wrong. When you get a home inspection done, you're walking through it with a client. Do you go through the report with the client? Like, what does your process look like, and what are some tips that you often give, to focus on specific things, whether they're bigger items, smaller items? Like, how do those conversations look for you, particularly when you work with a client on a home inspection?
Yeah, so I do the home inspection. Either some home inspectors don't want to be interrupted as they're doing a home inspection. I'm pretty laid back on that. I mean, my inspection will be better if I'm not bothered, and it'll go by quicker. If I have someone follow me around, which is totally fine because I probably would do the same thing. I'd want to follow my inspector, ask questions. I promote that. They're paying me to be there. Ask questions. If you're curious about something, ask it. It's okay. I don't mind. And I'm going to walk you through. And then at the end of the inspection, if you're not following me, then I'm going to walk you through at the end either way. But at the end of the inspection, we're going to go through every picture that I took, and I'm going to describe what I'm looking at and what the issue is, and whether it's really that big of a deal or it's just something that is going to come up that comes up on every inspection.
Exactly it, right? There's those things that are the bigger issues, and so essentially, right, and I think what's important for clients to know is like, hey, I'm there. You could be, and maybe people don't even know that. Like, they can actually be there at the inspection, so they can
Yeah.
be there to ask questions as you're going through, or if you can't be there, because we get it, because it's I mean, how long is a home inspection typically?
Around 2 hours. Give or take the home inspector. I'm a
Sure.
fairly, I want to say I'm quick, but I like to say the word efficient. I'm very
There you go.
efficient with my time.
Yeah.
I usually take about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on the condition of the house, or the age or the size really plays a part on it. But I would say on average, I'm around that 2 hour mark. Um, but it's really just discussing with the clients the severity of each issue. Something that comes up almost every inspection is a leak in hose bib. You put your hose on it, you have a nozzle attached to it, you turn the water on, you're not using the hose yet, it's going to pour water out. I test it with a pressure gauge, it leaks. That's something that comes up every time, and just telling people that this is a common issue. It's really not that big of a deal, but it's my job to call this out because it is an issue or it's a problem. It's
Yeah.
not the correct way. I've looked out a window 1,000 times. I know exactly what it looks like when it's right, and I know exactly what it doesn't look like when it's wrong, or when it's wrong. So it's just, as a home inspector, we have those eyes that see something so many times that we know what to look for when it's not right. So
Right.
and then just walking through with clients and just discussing with them that this is a broken seal in a window. Yeah, it needs to be fixed, but it's something that you could do over time. You don't have to do right now. This
Yeah.
issue over here is something that this leak in the roof. This is something that's going to cause bigger issues that needs to be fixed sooner than later because it's just going to cost more money as it gets worse. So stuff like that, just walking through, reassuring new home buyers that this is an issue that needs to be fixed now. This is an issue that This is normal, something you typically see in a house this age. It doesn't need to be fixed right this second. You can take your time. You can fix it when you have the money for it.
Yeah, that's so good. Because and I think that's the important piece. So, right, home buyers, you can be there, you can ask questions, and then a good inspector, like Caleb, will say, hey, look, these are the things that you should focus on. These are some bigger issues. These are some things I see all the time. Because it's definitely a honeymoon phase when you're buying a house. Because you even said,
Yeah.
I even fell victim to that. You're like, I love this house,
Right.
whatever. You're not gonna hear anything. So it's a good reminder for home buyers that when you get a home inspection, it's a good opportunity to just pause. And I always tell people, I'm like, you can't fall in love until after the home inspection.
Yeah.
So take that home inspection, work through it, and use it as an opportunity to really think through the costs and your long and short term goals. Like, hey, is this a long term house for you? Great. Well, you've got 10 years till you need a new roof, so start planning now. It's not always about what you need up front. Like, how much money do we need to buy this house? It's like, well, let's plan appropriately as well. And so a great inspector will be a great teammate on that front too. So home inspections can be kind of a really not really a pain point. What do I want to say? They can be a high tension point sometimes, and obviously it becomes a negotiating piece for home buyers and home sellers. Do you find that you work really closely with realtors, or what is maybe some advice that you would give to a real estate agent who's walking their client through a home inspection, maybe for the first or second time, or even if it's just something that has some bigger issues? Like, do you work closely with those realtors, or what is maybe some advice that you'd give to a real estate agent kind of navigating that process with the client?
Most real estate agents, I'm definitely, maybe not so, if you're a newer agent, you don't know 100% sure. They usually let me take the reins when I start talking to clients, but, seasoned agents, they know, they describe to the clients, and I send an email to all my clients beforehand. I'm just letting them know this is going to be negative in tone. I don't point out the beauty. I don't point out the good parts of the house. I only point out the bad stuff. So don't let that overwhelm you. There is lots of good features. It's just not my job to do that. So an agent
That's good.
preps their clients for a home inspection, letting them know the inspector's job is to call out everything that he sees that is an issue. Yeah. So a good agent's gonna prep their clients for the home inspection. Just letting them know that the home inspection's going to be. He's going to call out every little thing he sees. It doesn't mean the house is falling apart. It's just his job to call out the defects. So it's nice for. And it's nice that when the agents prep them for that, and they let them know that home inspectors are human. They're gonna miss some things. We're not gonna catch every little detail. It's just that's how it goes. I like to say that I'm gonna miss less than the next guy. But
That's good.
so the agents, it's good for them to prep their clients for the home inspection, to let them know that this is a inspection of the defects of the home. They're finding that it's not everything that's great about the house. And it's going to be a lot of information to take in at once, and then that's where the agent and me come in to kind of walk them through all that information and let them know what's important, what's just normal.
That's good. Perfect. So message to realtors: trust your home inspector. Work with somebody you trust, and for home buyers, really, like I think a big thing that you said. I think that's so important is setting the right expectations.
Yeah.
Of like, hey, look, this is going to be bad. So that's good. Good to know. I'm saying the same thing. I'm telling clients like, hey, he's going to tell you everything that's wrong with it, but it gives you a great opportunity to plan for some of the things that you need to do to be a really successful homeowner, which I think is really important. So don't use a home inspection as a tool to freak out. Use it as an opportunity to plan out really based on what your goals are and what your thoughts are for how long you're going to be in this home at the time. And really sit down if you're buying a home with a partner or on your own to say, hey, look, is this something I can do? Do I need somebody for this? You can leverage your network of professionals, or family members and be like, okay, I can actually make a responsible home buying decision because I know what's wrong with this house. And so that's where a great inspector comes in. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Essentially, the worst case scenario of a home, or the best case of a home inspection is you just have a honey-do list. And it's just your list that you got to work on.
That's good.
A homeowner.
That's perfect. Yeah, and a targeted list too, which is nice because I don't want to go up on my roof or in my crawl space.
I feel like as a homeowner, you find out really quick of the things that you're willing to do yourself and what you're willing to pay someone else to do. Yeah. And that comes with time and experience.
Yeah, got a few
And money.
stories. Yeah, I
And
got a
money.
few stories. I in my crawl space in the middle of winter. Um, yeah, trying to seal up vents so that our pipes didn't freeze. So home ownership. It's fun. That's awesome. What are you got any crazy stories? Anything crazy? What's the craziest thing that's ever happened at a home inspection?
Like the craziest thing that's ever happened, or the craziest thing I've seen?
Either,
Because I have, I mean, um, I was
without naming
working with.
names.
Don't say names of agents.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. Just don't implicate anybody.
Well, it's not anything bad by any means. It's
Yeah.
I was on a home inspection, and I don't test ovens anymore because of this. Um, but one inspection, there was a fire that happened from the oven, and the fire truck had to come. So that was that was the
Okay.
first, and very odd when the fire department comes and asks for the owner, and the owner is not there, and it's just us. But it was
We
simply I was
started the
just turning
fire.
the oven
Sorry.
on. Yeah, exactly. I was just like, uh, yeah, sorry. I
That's
was
amazing.
testing
Just
the oven, just making sure it works, and I walked away, and I multitask a lot because like I said, I'm efficient with my time. So I turned the
sure.
oven on, went to check something else. Agent's like comes and gets me. She's like, Caleb, the oven is on fire, and I'm like, what? So I run back and open it up, or I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she turned it off already, and I opened it up, and I'm like, oh, we probably should call the fire department. This is not good. And the oven was clean. It's just when the people that cleaned it, there was
Yeah.
some like cleaning agent still in there, so it just like
Oh,
it burst. Yeah, it was. So I've had that happen
running around.
once,
Yeah.
and I've
Nice.
had
That's pretty good.
several times ovens where people put like they shove like their like utensils in there and put stuff in the oven to store, and rookie Caleb didn't look in the oven before turning it on, and I've melted several spatulas,
Yeah.
which I, yeah. So that has happened.
Ovens.
Dishwashers, I've
Okay.
had them flood. I don't
Yeah.
I carry multiple towels, shop rigs with me for floods of any sort. Sinks. Sometimes I don't look
Yeah.
under the sink before starting the sink, and all of a sudden there's no plumbing underneath, and it's everywhere. So I've had a lot of scenarios like that, disasters. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's I clean it up, I take care of it. Usually the
Sure.
owners have no
Sure.
idea what happened.
Sure.
I mean, the agents let them know, but you would never know if you weren't told. Just yesterday, actually, I was taking a toilet tank off because it wasn't flushing right, and they had something on top of like a calendar or something on top of it, and it fell right into the tank bowl and ruined it. And I was like, God. Luckily, Amazon had the exact same thing, and I was able to ship it to the client or the owners the next day. So they should be receiving it today, and they were happy. They were pleased. They were not upset with me. So that's all I could care
The
about.
toilet calendar. You ruined our
Yes.
toilet calendar.
Yeah, yeah. I just had to
There you
let the
go.
wife know. I just ordered something on Amazon. It's not for us. It is for the clients that I just ruined their calendar. So yeah. Other than that, I think one of the funniest things I've come across. I mean, the funniest things I come across are usually like duct tape on things that shouldn't be. There was a leak in the
Mm.
attic, and on the roof there was just like a piece of duct tape that was like this on it, and I was just like, what?
That'll do it.
Duct tape fixes everything. That and Flex Seal on roofs. I
Oh
tell you.
yeah. Just slapping it on there.
But the duct tape on the leak just that
Yeah.
just I just had
They were just showing you where it was.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. They were just locating
X marks
it
the
for me.
spot.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly.
That's what my kids
That's
always say.
exactly what it
X
was.
marks the spot, Dad. There you go.
So yeah, I mean, stuff like that. I did there. So usually when I go around a house, I open up the crawl space. I look at it just to see what I'm looking at before either I get my hopes up like, oh, it's a nice crawl space, or like, oh, that's gonna be fun. But
Yeah,
usually I
put on
open
the
it up
jumpsuit.
just in case. What was that?
Yeah. Am I putting on the jumpsuit or not?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because now I use a jumpsuit every time I go in the crawl space. Now, I I just have gotten to the point where I don't care as much about getting dirty. But yes, that's essentially what I'm looking at: is how bad is it? Is there rat poop everywhere? Do I need to get a jumpsuit on? But there was one time I opened it up, and I do this so that when I'm walking through the house, anything that's in there can come out. So I open it up, I'm walking around the house, I'm on the deck, and all of a sudden this raccoon comes out hissing underneath the deck, which is where the hatch is. And I'm like, oh god! I was like, thank the Lord, I opened that up. And then right behind her, she had 4 babies, and I was like, oh, if I was in that crawl space with a mom raccoon and 4 babies on my stomach,
Yeah.
that's a losing battle.
You'd be wrestling some raccoons.
Yeah, so that was probably the worst case, or the one of the craziest things that I
Yeah.
avoided, luckily. Um, but
There you go. Never a
there's
dull
lots.
moment.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's never, and I learn something new every inspection almost. Something
Yeah.
I've never seen. I'm just like, wow. Like just the other day, I saw someone repair a sink. Probably they use like what's called no hub fit-ins, which is like a rubber fit-in with like a hose clamp on it that tightens
Okay.
down, so you can tighten the
Sure.
two pipes together. Usually,
Like a
like
car. Yeah.
yeah, essentially. And it's like when you're connecting like cast iron or some metal to a plastic or something that you don't really have a fit in for it, so you use this no hub and you tighten it down. Anyways, those things are like 20 bucks a pop. He had like 3 or 4 of them in there under the sink with duct tape and all this stuff. And he spent more money doing it wrong than he would have spent doing it right. And that stuff always cracks me up because I'm
Yeah.
always
Oh yeah.
like, sometimes if you don't know what you're doing, maybe seek help.
Yeah.
It's okay. You
Yeah.
you could save money doing it the right way. So that one made me
That's
laugh.
perfect. That's
Yeah.
perfect. That's a great one to end on too. That's so good. Yeah, you might save money just doing it the right way.
Yeah.
And a good reminder that you don't want to be the one starting a fire in your new home, so have an inspection done. Your inspector will start the fire for you and get that
Yeah.
fixed up. So that's
Let me
awesome. I
break it.
appreciate you, Caleb. Thanks for the stories. Thanks for telling us what you do. If people want to get a hold of you or hire you as a home inspector, what's the best way to do that?
Email, text, phone call, whatever works great for them works good for me. I'm pretty
Yeah.
responsive. I will get back to you. If I'm not in a crawl space or an attic space, I will get back to you right away.
That's perfect. And your website is?
Website's stmhomeinspections.com.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
We'll wrap.